Commander Sktar stood on the bridge of his warship, staring at the blue-green planet on the main display. His scaled skin glistened under the ship's lights as he clasped his four-fingered hands behind his back. "This world is perfect," he said, his voice a deep rumble. "Abundant resources, breathable atmosphere, and a dominant species that appears physically weak." The science officer approached with a datapad. "Humans show no natural defenses, Commander. No claws, minimal muscle density compared to Phyrexians, and fragile skin. They rely on primitive technology." Sktar's mouth stretched into what passed for a smile among his kind. The Phyrexian Empire had conquered 12 worlds already. Each victory made them more feared across the galaxy. Their reputation as apex predators was well earned. "Begin standard surveillance protocol," Sktar ordered. "I want to understand their weaknesses before we strike." Small probe ships launched from the Phyrexian vessel, cloaked against Earth's detection systems. They scattered across the planet, focusing on population centers and isolated areas alike. One probe descended into a forested region in the northern hemisphere, landing silently among tall pines. Its sensors activated, scanning the surrounding area for signs of human activity. Sam Carter woke to Buddy pawing at his bedroom door. The golden retriever whined softly, unusual for the normally quiet service dog. "What is it, boy?" Sam swung his legs out of bed, running a hand through his short brown hair. After 15 years as a Marine, he still woke instantly alert. Buddy trotted to the cabin's front door, looking back expectantly. Sam pulled on jeans and a flannel shirt. Living alone in his grandfather's old cabin suited him. After 3 tours overseas and the injury that ended his career, the quiet forests helped ease his mind. "It's 4 in the morning, Buddy," Sam said, checking his watch. But he trusted the dog's instincts. Buddy had been trained to detect threats, and Sam had learned to listen. Outside, the air felt crisp. Stars shone brightly above the tree line. Buddy immediately headed toward the path leading to the small lake nearby. Sam followed, grabbing his flashlight from the hook by the door. The dog moved with purpose, occasionally stopping to sniff the air. Something had definitely caught his attention. "What have you found?" Sam asked quietly, following Buddy off the path and into thicker woods. The dog froze suddenly, hackles rising slightly. Sam clicked off his flashlight and crouched beside his companion. Through the trees ahead, something glinted in the moonlight. Sam moved forward carefully, Buddy staying close to his side. In a small clearing ahead sat an object unlike anything he had ever seen. About the size of a small car, it had a metallic surface with no visible seams. It hovered slightly above the ground, silent and ominous. "What the hell?" Sam whispered. The object emitted a soft hum and rotated slightly. Sam stayed hidden behind a large tree trunk, observing. Military experience told him this was no ordinary drone or satellite debris. This was something entirely different. Buddy, however, seemed to have overcome his initial caution. The dog moved forward slowly, nose working overtime. "Buddy, stay," Sam whispered urgently, but the retriever continued his approach to the strange object. Inside the probe, surveillance systems recorded everything. The approaching mammal triggered higher alert protocols. Data streamed back to the Phyrexian mothership. Commander Sktar watched with growing interest as similar reports came in from around the planet. "Commander, we're detecting something unusual," his intelligence officer reported. "Humans appear to control various beast species. They keep them in their dwellings, train them for tasks, and use them as companions." The display showed numerous images: humans walking smaller animals on leashes, larger animals performing tasks, beasts guarding human structures. "Most intriguing," Sktar said, leaning forward. "Perhaps these weak beings aren't as defenseless as we thought. These creatures must be their weapons." On screen, Buddy sniffed curiously at the probe while Sam watched from the tree line. "Watch this one closely," Sktar ordered, pointing at the dog. I want to know exactly what threat these beasts pose. Commander Sktar stood on the bridge of his warship, staring at the blue-green planet on the main display. His scaled skin glistened under the ship's lights as he clasped his four-fingered hands behind his back. "This world is perfect," he said, his voice a deep rumble. "Abundant resources, breathable atmosphere, and a dominant species that appears physically weak." The science officer approached with a datapad. "Humans show no natural defenses, Commander. No claws, minimal muscle density compared to Phyrexians, and fragile skin. They rely on primitive technology." Sktar's mouth stretched into what passed for a smile among his kind. The Phyrexian Empire had conquered 12 worlds already. Each victory made them more feared across the galaxy. Their reputation as apex predators was well earned. "Begin standard surveillance protocol," Sktar ordered. "I want to understand their weaknesses before we strike." Small probe ships launched from the Phyrexian vessel, cloaked against Earth's detection systems. They scattered across the planet, focusing on population centers and isolated areas alike. One probe descended into a forested region in the northern hemisphere, landing silently among tall pines. Its sensors activated, scanning the surrounding area for signs of human activity. Sam Carter woke to Buddy pawing at his bedroom door. The golden retriever whined softly, unusual for the normally quiet service dog. "What is it, boy?" Sam swung his legs out of bed, running a hand through his short brown hair. After 15 years as a Marine, he still woke instantly alert. Buddy trotted to the cabin's front door, looking back expectantly. Sam pulled on jeans and a flannel shirt. Living alone in his grandfather's old cabin suited him. After 3 tours overseas and the injury that ended his career, the quiet forests helped ease his mind. "It's 4 in the morning, Buddy," Sam said, checking his watch. But he trusted the dog's instincts. Buddy had been trained to detect threats, and Sam had learned to listen. Outside, the air felt crisp. Stars shone brightly above the tree line. Buddy immediately headed toward the path leading to the small lake nearby. Sam followed, grabbing his flashlight from the hook by the door. The dog moved with purpose, occasionally stopping to sniff the air. Something had definitely caught his attention. "What have you found?" Sam asked quietly, following Buddy off the path and into thicker woods. The dog froze suddenly, hackles rising slightly. Sam clicked off his flashlight and crouched beside his companion. Through the trees ahead, something glinted in the moonlight. Sam moved forward carefully, Buddy staying close to his side. In a small clearing ahead sat an object unlike anything he had ever seen. About the size of a small car, it had a metallic surface with no visible seams. It hovered slightly above the ground, silent and ominous. "What the hell?" Sam whispered. The object emitted a soft hum and rotated slightly. Sam stayed hidden behind a large tree trunk, observing. Military experience told him this was no ordinary drone or satellite debris. This was something entirely different. Buddy, however, seemed to have overcome his initial caution. The dog moved forward slowly, nose working overtime. "Buddy, stay," Sam whispered urgently, but the retriever continued his approach to the strange object. Inside the probe, surveillance systems recorded everything. The approaching mammal triggered higher alert protocols. Data streamed back to the Phyrexian mothership. Commander Sktar watched with growing interest as similar reports came in from around the planet. "Commander, we're detecting something unusual," his intelligence officer reported. "Humans appear to control various beast species. They keep them in their dwellings, train them for tasks, and use them as companions." The display showed numerous images: humans walking smaller animals on leashes, larger animals performing tasks, beasts guarding human structures. "Most intriguing," Sktar said, leaning forward. "Perhaps these weak beings aren't as defenseless as we thought. These creatures must be their weapons." On screen, Buddy sniffed curiously at the probe while Sam watched from the tree line. "Watch this one closely," Sktar ordered, pointing at the dog. I want to know exactly what threat these beasts pose. Commander Sktar studied the growing collection of Earth surveillance footage with increasing concern. What had started as a simple conquest mission was becoming more complex by the hour. These humans are more cunning than we initially believed, he told his officers. They have somehow tamed fierce beasts to serve them. The main screen displayed images from around the planet. Humans with large animals that ran alongside them, smaller beasts that lived in their dwellings, and most concerning, uniformed humans directing animals to attack and subdue other humans. This one is particularly troubling, said the intelligence officer, highlighting footage of a police K-9 unit taking down a criminal. The humans have weaponized these creatures for warfare and law enforcement. Skar's eyes narrowed. The humans appear physically weak, yet they command these predators with simple gestures. This suggests advanced mental control abilities we hadn't detected. The Phyrexian War Council nodded in agreement. Their species had evolved as solo hunters, never forming bonds with other creatures. The concept was alien to them. We must revise our invasion strategy, Sktar declared. These beast weapons could pose a significant threat. Lisa Blackwell climbed out of her patrol car, adjusting her police uniform. Her partner Max, a German shepherd with a sleek black and tan coat, leaped from the back seat. "Easy boy," she said, clipping on his leash. "Just a routine patrol today." They walked through the park as they did every morning, checking the usual spots where trouble sometimes occurred. Max trotted beside her, alert and watchful. Lisa had no idea they were being closely observed. A Phyrexian probe, disguised as a bird, recorded their every move from a nearby tree. "Dispatch to Unit K-9. We've got reports of suspicious activity near the old mill," her radio crackled. "Copy that." "On our way," Lisa responded, turning toward her car. Max followed obediently. Sam couldn't shake the feeling of being watched. 3 days had passed since he'd discovered the strange object in the woods, but when he'd returned the next morning, it was gone. Only a small circular impression in the ground remained. He'd called his old military buddy, Jack Wilson, who worked in government intelligence. "You're saying you found some kind of unidentified craft in the woods behind your cabin?" Jack asked skeptically over the phone. "I know how it sounds," Sam replied, watching Buddy who kept staring out the window. "But I know what I saw. Something's going on." "I'll make some calls," Jack promised, "but keep this quiet for now. And Sam, be careful." Sam hung up and joined Buddy at the window. "What do you see out there, boy?" The dog whined softly, ears perked forward. In a classified government facility, Olivia Patel stared at her computer screen in disbelief. As a linguist specializing in communication theory, she'd been tasked with analyzing a strange signal detected by satellite. "This can't be right," she muttered, running the analysis again. The pattern contained distinct mathematical sequences that couldn't occur naturally. More importantly, they appeared to be responding to Earth's own transmissions. Her phone rang, startling her. "Dr. Patel, this is General Ross. We need you at a briefing immediately. The situation has developed." The first direct contact was brief and violent. A group of hikers in a national park encountered a Phyrexian scout team collecting biological samples. When the aliens attempted to capture one of the humans, the hiker's dog, a sturdy Labrador, leaped to defend its owner. The Phyrexian soldiers immediately retreated, firing warning shots, but clearly alarmed by the animal's aggressive response. Commander Sktar reviewed the incident footage with his officers. "As I suspected," he said grimly. "The beasts are their first line of defense. When we strike, we must target these creatures first. Then the humans will be defenseless." He didn't understand why his elite soldiers had shown such fear of a single animal. What he didn't know was that Phyrexians carried an ancient genetic memory. Their ancestors had once been prey to pack hunters similar to Earth's canines. "Prepare the attack squadrons," Sktar ordered. "We will begin with small settlements where fewer beasts have been detected." The first attacks came at dawn. Vrexian ships descended on smaller cities in regions where their surveillance had detected fewer dogs. Their targeting wasn't random. They had methodically identified areas with lower rates of pet ownership. Stockholm was hit first. Energy weapons carved through buildings while smaller craft deployed ground troops. Military response was swift but ineffective against the aliens' advanced technology. Within hours, they established a foothold. Similar scenarios played out in select locations around the globe. The aliens avoided major population centers, instead creating a strategic perimeter of controlled territories. In the underground facility near Raven Rock, Sam Carter watched the attacks unfold on massive screens. The room buzzed with military personnel and scientists analyzing the aliens' tactics. They're deliberately avoiding areas with high concentrations of dogs, General Ross said, pointing to a map showing the attack patterns. Look at the statistics. They've hit cities with the lowest rates of dog ownership first. Sam stood at the back, Buddy sitting calmly beside him. He'd arrived the previous day to find himself part of a hastily assembled team focused on the aliens' apparent fear of dogs. Conventional weapons aren't making a dent in their defenses, the Secretary of Defense reported grimly. The President is considering more drastic measures. I have an alternative proposal, Sam said, stepping forward. All eyes turned to him. You want to use dogs against advanced alien technology? Someone scoffed. Not as direct weapons, Sam clarified. As psychological warfare. These aliens are terrified of our relationship with dogs. We can use that. General Ross nodded. That's why you're here, Carter. What's your suggestion? We mobilize every working dog unit we have. Military, police, border patrol, search and rescue. If seeing our dogs causes them such distress, let's show them thousands of trained dogs at once. A murmur ran through the room. It sounds insane, the general admitted, but conventional approaches aren't working. How quickly can we coordinate this? Lisa Blackwell stood in a hangar filled with dog handlers and their partners from across the country. German Shepherds, Belgian Malinois, Labrador Retrievers, and other working breeds sat at attention beside their humans. I still can't believe this is happening, she said to the handler next to her, a border patrol agent with a Dutch Shepherd. Aliens invading Earth, and they're scared of dogs, the agent replied. If I hadn't seen their ships myself, I'd think this was a bad movie. Lisa checked Max's vest and equipment. Special ops teams had developed protective gear for the dogs, lightweight armor that would protect them from debris and minor weapons fire. The hangar doors opened, and Sam Carter walked in with Olivia Patel. Behind them came military officers carrying maps and equipment. Listen up, Sam called, and the room quieted. I know this sounds crazy, but you're now the front line in Earth's defense. Dr. Patel has some information you need to hear. Olivia stepped forward with a tablet. We've analyzed all encounters between the Vrexians and dogs. Their reaction goes beyond simple fear. It appears to be an instinctive response hardwired into their biology. She showed footage of the few direct encounters that had been recorded. In each case, the aliens retreated rapidly when confronted with dogs, even abandoning tactical advantages. We believe their species evolved as prey to pack hunters similar to canines, she continued. Even their advanced intelligence can't fully override this instinctive fear response. Sam took over. We've divided you into tactical units. Each team will deploy to different locations where the aliens have established ground forces. Your mission isn't to engage directly. It's to create a show of force with your canine partners. As he explained the details, satellite imagery showed a new wave of alien ships entering Earth's atmosphere. They're escalating, General Ross announced, entering the hangar. We've just lost contact with 3 more cities. We need to move now. The dog handlers prepared for deployment, checking equipment, and comforting their partners. Lisa knelt beside Max, scratching behind his ears. Looks like it's up to you guys now, she whispered. Who would have thought our best defense would be a good boy? The first coordinated canine defense took place outside Atlanta, where Vrexian ground troops had established a forward base. Military helicopters dropped teams of handlers and their dogs in a perimeter around the alien position. Lisa Blackwell and Max were among the first wave. They crouched behind a crashed car, watching the alien patrol ahead. The Vrexians moved with mechanical precision, sweeping energy weapons back and forth. "All units in position," came the voice through her earpiece. "Operation Bark Bite commencing in 30 seconds. Lisa checked Max's protective vest one last time. The German Shepherd sensed her tension, muscles coiled and ready. "You're a good boy," she whispered, "just like we practiced." The signal came, 3 short tones. Lisa unclipped Max's leash and gave the command. Forward. All around the alien position, over 100 dogs surged forward at once, handlers following behind with non-lethal weapons. The dogs didn't attack directly. They weren't being used as weapons. Instead, they ran in coordinated patterns, barking and growling, creating a moving wall of what the aliens feared most. The effect was immediate and dramatic. The Vrexian patrol froze. Some dropped their weapons. Others fired wildly, missing their targets completely. Their disciplined formation collapsed into chaos. "It's working," Lisa said into her comm as she followed Max at a safe distance. From his command post half a mile away, Sam Carter watched through binoculars. "Push forward," he ordered. "Keep the dogs visible but safe." The human forces advanced behind their canine partners. For the first time since the invasion began, the aliens were retreating. Commander Skatar slammed his fist against the display, cracking the screen. "Unacceptable. Our elite warriors, running from primitive beasts." His officers stood silently, afraid to speak. The tactical display showed similar scenarios playing out in 6 different locations, humans deploying their beast weapons, and Vrexian forces falling back in disarray. "Send in the heavy assault units," Skatar ordered. "Target the beasts first, then the handlers. I want those creatures eliminated." Sam's radio crackled with urgent messages. "They're adapting. New forces incoming with heavier weapons." Through his binoculars, Sam saw large Vrexian transports descending. These weren't the regular troops. They wore heavier armor and carried larger weapons. "All handlers, fall back. Recall your dogs immediately," Sam ordered. Most of the dogs responded to recall commands, but some were too far forward. Lisa watched in horror as alien energy beams targeted the dogs specifically. Max was racing back toward her when a blast hit nearby, sending debris flying. "Max," Lisa called, breaking cover to reach her partner. The dog was stunned but alive, a gash on his flank where the protective vest didn't cover. Sam saw Lisa exposed and ran forward, Buddy at his heels. He reached her just as alien fire intensified around them. Together, they dragged Max behind a concrete barrier. "They're specifically targeting the dogs now," Lisa said, applying pressure to Max's wound. "They've figured out our strategy." Sam nodded grimly. "We need to adapt too." Olivia Patel worked frantically in the mobile command center, analyzing recordings of the alien communication during the battle. "They're terrified," she told Sam over the radio, "but also adapting. Their fear is making them desperate." She played a translated audio clip. "Eliminate the beasts at all costs." "There's something else," Olivia continued. "I've been studying their biology. They appear to have highly sensitive hearing, much more sensitive than humans. That might explain their strong reaction to barking." Sam's eyes widened with understanding. "Can we use that? Some kind of sound that affects them but not the dogs." "I'm working on it," Olivia replied. "But I need more data. We need to capture their technology, learn more about their physiology." Sam looked at Buddy, then at the alien forces regrouping in the distance. "I think I know how to get what you need," he said, "but it's going to be risky." The tide of battle had turned, with human forces retreating under heavy alien fire. But for the first time, Earth had found a weakness to exploit. The question was whether it would be enough against an enemy now determined to exterminate humanity's oldest companion. The alien command ship hovered over Washington, D.C., its massive shadow darkening the National Mall. Commander Sktar had decided to lead the final assault personally. 3 weeks of unexpected resistance had forced his hand. The humans continue to deploy their beasts against our forces, he told his officers. But we have adapted. Our new tactics are working. The tactical display showed the progress of Rexian forces across the globe. Their strategy had evolved, using long-range weapons to eliminate dogs before engaging human defenders, setting up sonic barriers that disoriented canines, and deploying aerial units that dogs couldn't reach. The time has come to break their will completely, Sktar declared. We will capture their leadership and force surrender. In the underground command center, Sam, Lisa, and Olivia gathered around a table covered with maps and tactical displays. Max lay nearby, his wound healing but still keeping him out of action. Buddy sat alert at Sam's feet. Their adaptations are working, General Ross admitted grimly. We've lost ground in most combat zones. Conventional forces are taking heavy casualties. But we have something they don't expect, Sam said, nodding to Olivia. She activated a presentation on the main screen. Based on captured alien technology and observations of their reactions to different frequencies, I've developed this. She held up what looked like a modified dog whistle connected to an electronic amplifier. It emits a specific frequency that severely discomforts Rexians without affecting humans or dogs, she explained. We've tested it on captured equipment. It disrupts their technology temporarily. The problem is range, Lisa pointed out. These devices only work at close quarters. We need to get near their command centers. Sam nodded. That's why we need to change our approach. So far, we've been using military and police dogs, trained animals that the Rexians have learned to target first. What they won't expect is what I'm proposing next. He pulled up images on the screen. Ordinary people with their pet dogs of all shapes and sizes. Civilian volunteers, General Ross asked skeptically. Exactly, Sam confirmed. Thousands of regular people and their family pets. The Vrexians have adapted to our tactical use of dogs, but they haven't seen anything like what I'm suggesting. A dog owner's militia, Lisa asked. More like a dog owner's distraction, Sam clarified. While civilian volunteers create chaos with thousands of dogs throughout the city, special teams can get close enough to use Olivia's device against their command ship. The plan spread rapidly. In cities around the world, dog owners responded to the call. They gathered in parks and stadiums, everyday people bringing their pets to join the resistance. Sam led a briefing for volunteers in Washington. The high school gymnasium was packed with people and dogs of every variety, from tiny Chihuahuas to massive Great Danes. You're not being asked to fight, he explained to the crowd. Your job is simply to be visible with your dogs. Move through your assigned sectors, creating a display that will confuse their targeting systems. A woman raised her hand. My Pomeranian isn't exactly a war dog. Will this really help? Sam smiled. Your Pomeranian is exactly what we need. The aliens can't tell the difference between a 5-pound fluff ball and a trained military dog. To them, all our dogs are mysterious weapons. The more diverse, the better. As the volunteers dispersed with their instructions, Lisa approached Sam. This is crazy enough that it might work, she said. It has to, Sam replied, watching Buddy, who seemed to understand the gravity of the situation. Because if we fail, dogs will be the first species they eradicate. Commander Sktar was reviewing final assault plans when the alarm sounded. What is happening? He demanded. Commander, our sensors are detecting beast signatures all over the city, his officer reported, panic evident in his voice. Thousands of them, moving in coordinated patterns. The display showed heat signatures of dogs and humans flooding the streets below, approaching from all directions. Impossible, Sktar snarled. Target and eliminate them immediately. But there were too many, spread too widely. And among the chaos, special teams led by Sam, Lisa, and Olivia moved toward their true objective, the command ship itself. The battle for Earth had reached its turning point. The fate of two species now rested on a desperate gamble. Sam led his small team through the access tunnel beneath the National Mall. Above them, thousands of dog owners and their pets created the largest distraction in human history. Their presence had thrown the alien targeting systems into complete confusion. Approaching entry point, Sam whispered into his comm device. Buddy moved silently beside him, the German Shepherd's training keeping him calm despite the chaos. Lisa checked her equipment one last time. She had volunteered for this mission, even though Max couldn't join her due to his injuries. Olivia, status on the sonic device. Olivia adjusted the backpack containing their secret weapon. Ready to deploy once we're inside. Remember, we'll only have about 5 minutes before they adapt. They reached the end of the tunnel where a maintenance shaft led upward. Through a grate above, they could see the underside of the Phyrexian command ship hovering 30 feet off the ground. Now or never, Sam said, giving the signal to the other teams positioned around the perimeter. Execute Phase 2. Across the city, specialized sound equipment activated, broadcasting the frequency Olivia had discovered. The effect was immediate. The command ship's lower hull plates began to shimmer as their technology struggled to compensate. There, Sam pointed to a section where an access ramp had begun to lower. They're deploying troops to deal with the disruption. That's our way in. The team moved quickly, using the confusion to slip past Phyrexian guards disoriented by the sonic attack. Buddy led the way, his acute senses detecting danger before the humans could. Inside the ship, alien architecture surrounded them. Curved hallways with strange lighting and surfaces that seemed almost alive. They moved deeper, following Olivia's directions toward the command center. Life signs ahead, Sam warned as they approached the sealed door. Heavy concentration. This must be it. Olivia activated the sonic device at full power. The door's locking mechanism sputtered and failed. With a hiss, it slid open, revealing the bridge of the alien vessel. Commander Sktor stood in the center, surrounded by his officers. All turned in shock as the humans entered with Buddy front and center. "Don't move," Sam ordered, though he knew the aliens couldn't understand his words. The sonic device caused the Phyrexians visible discomfort, making them cover their hearing organs. Sktar recovered first, drawing a weapon. The beast, he snarled in his own language, aiming at Buddy. What happened next surprised everyone, especially the aliens. Instead of attacking, Buddy sat down. The training Sam had given him activated, and the dog extended his paw in the universal canine gesture of friendship. Commander Sktar froze, weapon still raised but hesitating. The gesture was so unexpected, so contrary to everything he believed about Earth's beast weapons, that he couldn't process it. "He's confused," Olivia whispered. "The dog isn't behaving like a weapon." Sam slowly knelt beside Buddy. "Good boy," he said calmly, then looked up at the alien commander. "He's not a weapon. He's a friend." Olivia stepped forward, activating the translation program she had developed. It converted her words into approximations of Phyrexian language patterns. "We do not control these animals through force," she said carefully. "We live with them. We care for them. They care for us." The alien commander lowered his weapon slightly, his expression unreadable to human eyes. Through the translator, he spoke. "Impossible. Predator species do not cooperate. There must be domination." Lisa joined them, pulling up images on her tablet, dogs guiding blind people, comforting sick children, rescuing humans from danger. Not domination. Partnership, friendship, family. For the Phyrexians, this concept was revolutionary. Their entire empire was built on conquest and control. The idea of mutual cooperation between species had never occurred to them. Commander Sktar approached cautiously, studying Buddy, who remained sitting calmly. In a gesture that would change the course of two civilizations, Sam took the alien's four-fingered hand and gently placed it on Buddy's head. "It's okay," Sam said. "He won't hurt you." The moment of contact seemed to stretch forever. The alien commander felt the soft fur, the warmth of the living creature who showed no fear or aggression toward him. Perhaps, Skatar said slowly through the translator, "We have much to learn from Earth after all." 3 days later, the invasion ended. Diplomatic talks began, with dogs present at every meeting. What had started as a terrible misunderstanding became the foundation for an unexpected peace. Humans had found their unlikely ambassadors to the stars, not in advanced technology or weapons, but in the loving companions who had walked beside them for thousands of years.